Ministers say the American woman involved in a fatal car crash in Northamptonshire no longer has diplomatic immunity because she has returned to the United States. Mrs Sacoolas left the UK after the collision in August, in which 19-year-old Harry Dunn was killed. Well, she has now said she wants to meet the teenager's parents, who are due to fly to the US this morning to raise their concerns about the case. Simon Jones has this report.
They've taken their fight for justice to the Foreign Office in London, and now Harry Dunn's parents are flying to the US. They say ever since Harry's death, they've been trapped in a nightmare. He was killed on this road, hit by a car believed to have been driven by Mrs Sacoolas, the wife of a US diplomat. She returned home shortly afterwards, claiming diplomatic immunity. Now she's broken her silence. A statement issued through her lawyer said no loss compares to the death of a child. Anne would like to meet with Mr Dunn's parents so that she can express her deepest sympathies and apologies for this tragic accident. It's something Harry Dunn's family had been calling for.
You want to grieve, you desperately want to grieve, the whole family desperately want to grieve, but we can't, so every day is a battle. Every day is more of a battle than we feel it should be.
And in that battle, Harry's parents have now received a letter from the Foreign Secretary. Dominic Raab writes, the UK government's position is that immunity is no longer relevant in Mrs Sacoolas' case because she has returned home. The US have now informed us that they too consider that immunity is no longer pertinent. This could now pave the way for an attempt to extradite Mrs Sacoolas to the UK.
Well, as you heard in that report, Harry's parents, who you saw in that piece there, are due to fly to the United States later this morning from Heathrow Airport. And Simon Jones gave us this update from there.
Harry Dunn's parents are heading to Washington because they say they still need to make progress with this case. They had a meeting at the Foreign Office during the week, but they described that as simply a publicity stunt. They also appealed to the US ambassador in London but felt they made no progress there. So they want to talk directly to politicians in Washington and also in New York, and perhaps if they get the chance to make their case to President Trump. The key thing they want to do, though, is speak to Mrs Sacoolas herself, to hear from her firsthand about how the crash happened and about Harry's final moments. Now, of course, there has been this offer of a meeting by Mrs Sacoolas, and we had a statement issued from her lawyer. I think it's interesting what that says and what it doesn't say. It says that Mrs Sacoolas is devastated. It points out that she cooperated with the police in Northamptonshire immediately after the crash, and they came to her house the following day. What it doesn't say is why exactly she decided the best course of action after that was to leave the country and claim diplomatic immunity. Now, Harry Dunn's family have reacted to the letter they received from the Foreign Office. It was delivered by hand, telling them that the UK believes that diplomatic immunity no longer applies in this case. They say they're elated to hear that. They think they're finally making some kind of headway in this case, but they're also shocked that it suddenly came out of the blue and why this has only just been realised. Now, for the family, this is a journey they would much rather not be making. They'd rather be spending their time grieving, but they think this is the right thing to do, and they say they're determined that Harry's death will not be swept under the carpet.
Simon Jones reporting there from Heathrow Airport.